Like, I'm not going to read a book because it has one bed, but whenever it happens, I'm always like, oh, you. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody, and especially hi, subscribers. There has been a cute little influx of you since my video about Bridgerton last week, so thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that we will continue to be friends, and I hope that this video is nice for you. I have lots and lots of comments that I also need to respond to, so bear with me. The thoughts are coming. I'm just a little bit overwhelmed, but in a happy way, and glad to be having a little conversation. But I figured what I want to do today is get into some more cultural chit chat. I am super interested in television, theater. I love video games. I don't see many like movies, but I figured that doing a tier ranking would kind of cover the tropes, the topics that I tend to enjoy and that you can like expect to see on here. And I'm going to try and keep it quick and try and keep it easy breezy, even though I in fact pick like a trope thing that had a lot of different ones because there's so much to say. I hope we can continue to be friends. Let me know your recommendations down below. If there's some incredibly amazing piece of media that has one of these things that I like that I have never experienced before. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so here I am in tier ranker land with the expansive list of 97 tropes. We could not be going harder if we try, but I'm gonna be fast, so don't you worry about it. I know what I like. So let me quickly first introduce the categories. So firstly, we have show me to me, Rachel. Self-explanatory. No, it's not. I'll include the example.
Show me to me, please. Send it to me, Rachel.
No, of course, it's the tropes that I'm like, yes, absolutely. Most likely to get me to read or watch or whatever. Olivia Wilde.gif is another brain rot reference. I've been really feeling it lately when you're just like, when something is quite pleasing to you. It is Olivia Wilde.gif. You Go Girl is another one where it's like, hey, yeah, that's a fun one. You know, you go, girl. Then our kind of neutral one is No Thoughts, Head Empty, because sometimes you don't have any thoughts about a topic, and that's okay. Then there's Not For Me, which is, you know, love that for you if that's your scene, but they are not for me personally. The last like ones that I actually have experienced is Oh No. And it's in all caps, oh no, which is a meme that I have with myself based on Tomorrow by Together, the K-pop group at an amusement park. I'll put it into this section so you can understand what I'm talking about. Oh no! Join me in trying to make this a meme. Huh? And then the last two are Never Read It, Maybe Interested, and Never Read It, Doubt I'm Interested. So these are in alphabetical order. So the first one is abusive parents, and that's sad to me. So I think I'm going to make it a simple Not For Me. I guess the version of that I could be down for is like a Cinderella story, but even then it's just kind of a bummer. Sometimes I understand why it's dramatically necessary, but it's not like, yay, I can't wait to read this. Accidental pregnancy. I'm putting in an oh no, and it's not because I don't like babies. In fact, I love babies. I'm very pro baby. I love to crochet them little hats and things. It's just that like accidental pregnancy is such a big source of stress for me that whenever I read something about an accidental pregnancy, I'm like, there is so much happening here. There's so many logistics. There's so much to think about that if there's supposed to be romance happening, suddenly I am no longer in that headspace, even a little bit. So it's an oh no, not for baby reasons, just for like, this is a logistical nightmare. Okay, bad boy, good girl. You go, girl. I don't really have any super strong feelings about that. Similarly, bad girl, good boy. Sure. Contrast is fun. That's all I got. Age gap generally is not for me. I tend to enjoy when people are like relatively equal, similar life stages. So yeah, I'm going to leave age gap as not for me. If it's for you, slay on. Again, it tends to be more of a source of stress than a source of hooray. AI robots. I'm torn because I dislike AI in real life. I think it's bad for labor, and I think it's bad for the environment, and I think it's bad for the arts, and I think it's bad for literacy, which is pretty bad. But in a story, sure. I enjoy a sci-fi moment, so I'll leave it in. But as it is in real life, I'm like, ugh, no thanks. Ally turned antagonist. This is fun for me. I generally enjoy when the tables turn. I think that's very exciting. So when an ally turns anti, or I'll grab this one, when an antagonist turns ally, that's fun. Maybe antagonist turn ally, like redemption arc is even a little higher. Generally, how the turntables is fun, especially if it like feels really earned, are very exciting. Okay, amnesia. Just as amnesia is head empty, so too are my feelings about amnesia head empty. I don't know. It doesn't really do much for me in either direction. Maybe it can be fun. I'm trying to think if I've read anything with it. Maybe not. So maybe I should move it, but I truly feel neutral about it. No feelings. Apocalypse. Apocalypse, again, she's a little stressful. Like with AI robot, she's a little bit stressful. I don't necessarily seek out an apocalypse, but I have greatly enjoyed apocalypse media before. The one that immediately comes to mind is The Umbrella Academy. I really enjoyed. I'm sure there are other ones, but I don't want to waste your time trying to remember them. But yeah, it is a stressful idea. I don't love it, but it is certainly interesting, which I think is pretty you go girl. Arranged marriage. I don't think I've read anything about arranged marriage, but I'll put it in you go girl as well. My heart is open to a lot of these, and I can definitely see arranged marriage where we realize that we actually do have feelings for each other is lovely. I guess that does kind of sort of happen in Bridgerton, doesn't it? There's a lot of like, well, now you have to get married, and it tends to work out. So slay. Avenging dead friend family. Okay, I think that's pretty up there. A revenge narrative can be quite enjoyable. Shall I make it a not? You know, I'll put it in you go girl. I feel generally positive about avenging. I think there's a lot of drama to be had and a lot of angst. Like I have to choose between like vengeance and love or vengeance and some other goal. Exciting. So yeah, I like that. Beautiful doesn't know it. You don't know you're beautiful. One Direction. Sure. It doesn't really matter to me either way. Betrayal. I guess betrayal should go up here with the turntables just because it's so dramatic and that's often exciting to me. And I love to be like reading something or watching something and being like, oh, she didn't. So betrayal is fun. I don't ever want it to happen to me in real life. It makes me sad. But in drama, in story, that's very flavorful. A Child of MC sequel. Sure. Again, I'm trying to think of an example of this. I just don't feel very strongly about it. Chosen One. I mean, I grew up with Harry Potter and its ilk. So I do think chosen ones are always going to have like kind of a special place in my heart. Although as a grown-up media consumer, I think that the trope can be a little flavorless. The plot armor of it all. Real life is more complicated than that, but in a story, it can be fun. Billionaire romance. I don't hate the idea of a bae who can, I don't know, buy you everything. But again, it's kind of a power imbalance unless somebody's able to be like, they're a billionaire from only ever helping people. They help people so much that they got $1 billion. I just, again, the real life implications kind of seep in and make it a little stressful for me. Boarding school. I mean, I think I support. I'll put it up in Olivia Wilde, not .gif, because I think high school aged me would have been totally locked in about boarding school. Now that I'm a grown up, I'm like, do you mean college? If I treat it as like boarding school / college, then yeah, I think that's fun. It's fun to be on campus. I think fondly on college. College is fun. Living a 5-minute walk from all of your friends is like the best thing that will ever happen to you. Peak life enjoyment. So I get it. I think there's lots of fun things that can happen in a campus setting. Body swap. Again, this feels like something that happens more often in like kids books. So as a grown-up, it's not so compelling to me. Bodyguard romance. That's pretty fun. I think bodyguard romance can be kind of dreamy, kind of fun and sassy, or like, ooh, is it a love triangle? Is there like somebody you're supposed to be falling in love with, like another prince, but instead you fall in love with a bodyguard? Like that's kind of fun and cute. So sure. Brother's best friend romance. And you know, I'll include flippity floppity best friend's brother. That's fun for me. I definitely have like favorite books that include this. I'll put it in You Go Girl. Thinking about like, yeah, I've enjoyed books like this before. I'm an only child, so brother's best friend will never happen to me. And I don't think any of my friends have eligible brothers. So I don't know that this will ever happen to me personally, but it's a nice idea of someone who is like always there for you. Bully romance. I think that people should be nice to each other if they're gonna fall in love. If somebody's mean, I'm like, what are you doing? Leave me alone. It's not for me. Crazy Ex. I think I'm gonna put Crazy Ex into, oh no. The only Crazy Ex that is for me is the television show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which deconstructs this trope. If someone is talking about a crazy ex, that's generally like not fun for me. MC dies at the end. I know sometimes it has to happen, but it bums me out. So I'm putting it in not for me, but what I really mean is just, it's a bummer. If it has to happen, it has to happen. I understand. Coming of age. I love a coming of age. I think that's a fun and interesting genre in general. A lot of my favorite stories from my youth are comings of age, and I still tend to really like them. It's a fun genre for me. I don't even know if I would call it a trope. I think I would call it a genre. A controlling dystopian government. Yeah, I think controlling dystopian governments are very interesting. I've definitely enjoyed a lot of books with controlling dystopian government. How can I deny? It's a great source of drama. It's a great source of thematic relevance, cultural commentary on the current state of things. We support a controlling dystopian government, even though it's not like a party. Don't end up together. I'm putting it in not for me for the same reason as MC dies at the end. It's just a bummer. Happily ever after is almost always so much better for me. Although I do enjoy they part ways and it's very sad, and then we like time jump and they like open the door and the person's in the room and like that's the end. I can live with that. That's happened before. I can survive. But if it's just like, and then they went their separate ways and they never spoke again, I'm always like, this is terrible. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Okay. Dragons. Gosh, I'm putting it in No Thoughts Head Empty. I simply don't care about dragons. I'm sorry. I know dragons are very popular. I don't care about them. Yeah. Curse/wish gone wrong. This is fun for me. Like an Ella Enchanted. Yeah, I think Curse/wish gone wrong is Olivia Wilde nod and maybe even higher. That's just, it's a fun thing. Damsel in Distress is kind of a bummer. Again, I prefer a character with a little more agency. That's it. Dark-haired hot male villain. Like, sure. You go, girl. I think it's cool when men have dark hair and are hot. I support hot men. That's all I got. Okay. Dark, mysterious, brooding love interest. I'm not mad at a dark, mysterious, brooding love interest. In fact, I'm promoting dark, mysterious, brooding love interest to Olivia Wilde, not Dutch, just because there's some flavor there for sure. Dead/missing girl. Kind of a bummer, isn't it? Unless she ends up alive at the end. Or like if it's like a Gone Girl situation, that can be interesting. Maybe I'll put it in No Thoughts, but generally it bums me out. Dead parents. Like, why would I seek that out? I love my parents. They're so cute. It's just sad. I know it's a Disney thing, but it is sad. Okay, death threats/murder attempts. This is another one where it's like, I don't seek it out, but if it's there, I think it can be done well. Not for me, generally. Diary writing, show me to me. Diary writing is one of my elite employees. I grew up on the Princess Diaries. Princess Diaries, you will always be famous. I live for a diary. I love to hear a character express themselves in their own little voice. That is so fun for me. Drunken confessions are fun. I think they're kind of fun. I think they're kind of silly. In vino veritas, you know? Or like if your dark, mysterious, brooding love interest drunkenly confesses, that's fun and silly. Enemies to lovers. I feel like there's a lot of discourse about this, and I'm going to put it in You Go, Girl. The question is always like, why are they enemies? Are they enemies for like fantasy reasons, or are they members of opposing, I don't know, like real life political entities or something? That's always like, okay. So I think enemies to lovers can be done well. I enjoy it in a fantasy, sci-fi type setting. I guess Pride and Prejudice. Does Pride and Prejudice count as enemies to lovers? If so, I do enjoy Pride and Prejudice flavor of enemies to lovers, or an initial we don't like to lovers. Okay, Grumpy Sunshine. I don't have any like super strong feelings about Grumpy Sunshine, but I think again, contrast is fun. Why not? Huge height difference. I have no opinions on a huge height difference. I often find them distracting in a book. Perhaps because I am a 5'7" woman, and so a huge height difference would be pretty extreme. It doesn't mean that much to me. Ex-BFF to Popular Mean Girl is a classic for children. Makes me think of like Lizzie McGuire. It is fun when they like reunite, but it just doesn't really seem to be something that happens much in adult media. Fairy tale retelling is yet another show me to me. I grew up on these. There was an amazing series, or at least amazing to me as a teenager, that was all fairy tale retellings. I'll like pull up the books and plop them somewhere. Those stories have stuck around for a reason, and they are a lot of fun. Fake relationship. I'm putting it in Olivia Wilde, not Dutch, but it's the sort of thing that if I think about it too hard, I'm like, this is goofy. It's just hard to imagine a legitimate real life sense making scenario for it. But I don't know. I love To All the Boys I Loved Before. There have been a lot of very fun, enjoyable stories with fake relationships. So I think it's a little stronger than You Go Girl. Femme fatale MC. Sure. Why not? I support a femme fatale. Slay on, girl. Ooh, forbidden love. What do I think about forbidden love? I appreciate the stakes of forbidden love, but it's another one where it's like unclear how you're really supposed to execute it in a modern, non-fantastical setting. Romeo and Juliet, she's a classic for a reason. And it's fun when the lovers like overcome. Okay. Found family is very pleasing to me. It's very delicious. I'm thinking of Six of Crows. The vibes are just impeccable. I enjoy a found family for sure. Forced proximity, also fun. Very Olivia Wilde nod.gif. There are many different forms of forced proximity, and pretty much all of them I'm like, ha ha ha, now you have to get along. So I support. Friends to lovers, very cute, very nice. I enjoy friends to lovers. We just had our Bridgerton friends to lovers season. I think it's cute. Sometimes it is kind of challenging or interesting to puzzle through, like, why didn't they get together before now? Hopefully that reason doesn't take away from the reason they're getting together now, but friends to lovers, we support. Ooh, heists are fun, y'all. I enjoy a heist. I think a heist is actually maybe a show me to me. Thinking again of Six of Crows, thinking of the film series Now You See Me. Ocean's 8 heists. Heists are delicious, actually. They're a wonderful, delicious flavor. High school, I'll put it in no thoughts had empty. I don't really read about high school much anymore because I'm a grown up, but when I was in high school and also younger than that, I was like, wow, I'm reading a book about these cool teens. Sometimes I do still dip a toe into YA for fun. It can be difficult for the stakes to feel meaningful, although some people are able to pull it off. Looks Like They Could Kill You is cinnamon roll. Yeah, that's fun. Look Like They Could Kill You, They Could is also fun. I don't have super strong feelings about those. Maybe I should put them in the never read it, but yeah, cute, fun. I Hate Everyone But You. I get it. And again, this is another one where I'm like, in a maybe fantasy type scenario, a sort of stern, broody type can work, but I do tend to enjoy a love interest who's a little more pro-social. Immortal/mortal. So I assume like a love story between a mortal person and an immortal person. That is very angsty, which I tend to enjoy. Twilight is another one of those classic stories that I probably imprinted on, as they say. So yeah, again, it's a great source of drama. Yeah, I enjoy. Insta love at first sight. It's just kind of not for me. It just doesn't really make sense to me. I can hand wave it away, but I remain generally filled with questions about it. It's like a don't think about it too hard that's harder to ignore. Knife to throat. Sometimes I guess you have to. I don't know. Maybe it's not for me. Letters writing style. This is another one. Epistolary novels, diaries and letters. Extremely me. Thinking about like The Year of Secret Assignments, Jacqueline Moriarty, a classic from my youth. I really enjoyed. I love letters. I love diaries. Long Lost Royal. Yeah, Long Lost Royal. I'm putting in You Go Girl exclusively for the Princess Diaries. Otherwise it would be neutral. Like, I don't know that I care about any other Long Lost Royals except for Princess Via Thermophilus. Okay, Looks Like Cinnamon Roll Could Kill You. Oh, that's fun. That's actually maybe a little bit more fun than the other ones. I don't really care what they look like. Actually, you know what? Looks Like They Could Kill You as Cinnamon Roll is actually even more delightful than the rest, I think. Looks Like Cinnamon Roll is one. Sure. The contrast is not as fun. Love triangle. If a love triangle is handled well, it's very fun and dramatic, but I almost always feel bad for somebody. It's not enough to, it will not put me on to a book or turn me off of a book, but I think there's a lot of potential in a love triangle. Mafia romance. Never read it. I'm going to put it in never read, doubt interested, just because it seems kind of violent, which is not fun for me. Multiple POVs is something that I tend to quite enjoy. A lot of my favorites, especially if they're writing letters and or diaries, a lot of favorites throughout the years have been multiple POVs, so I like those, and I like to bop into different people's heads at different times. Although I don't mind omniscient narrator lit fic situation either. Mutual pining. When I think of mutual pining, I think Olivia Wilde nod.gif. It's fun. Pining is delightful when it's reciprocated. Yeah. Okay, Magic Academies is also an elite employee. I'm a simple woman. I grew up in the Harry Potter era. I read A Deadly Education a couple years ago. I had a great time with that. I like Ninth House, which is dark academia magic situation. It's fun to go to school and do magic. Makeover. Ooh, I love makeovers. I'm so telling on myself. It's basically like trying to recapture the Princess Diaries, trying to recapture youthful wizard school books, all of it. I love a makeover scene in a movie. delicious. Mates. Ugh, mates are not for me. Whenever I hear someone talk about a mate, I'm always a little bit like, please stop, but go off. Meet cute is fun. I like meet cute. I tend to enjoy meet cute. That's like, it's classic rom-com fare. What's not to like? I feel positively. I dream of a meet cute for myself in real life. Mirror description, kind of not for me. It feels just a little like there must be better ways to get the character's visual description out. There are cooler, clever ways through that. I'm going to put miscommunication in You Go Girl because it is sort of a classic romance trope, and I understand why it needs to happen. Sometimes it can be handled really well, it can be handled really poorly. Sometimes it can be super contrived, but it's often a solid problem for people to have. Misfit, outsider, MC. I'll put it in You Go Girl. It's not really a seeking out situation, but I've certainly enjoyed misfit, outsider, MCs before. Thinking about Jude from The Cruel Prince situation, where she's just like, feral, like determined to claw her way into society at whatever cost, is pretty fun. Okay, multi-generational story. This is very yummy to me. I love a sweeping, epic, lit fic situation. Multi-generational stories are fun for me. Mysterious new guy. I guess I feel neutral. Again, it just feels a little like YA vibes. If I were reading YA, sure. The mysterious new guy is probably like a vampire or werewolf or something, which is fun. But yeah, a next door neighbor romance. Also kind of neutral, but potentially cute. Why not? It would be fun if they were that conveniently located. Sure. One of us saves the other's life. That's fun for me. I enjoy when people are saving each other's lives. The stakes through the roof. Ugh, and when they have like a life debt. That's drama. That's fun. Opposites attract. That's fun. What can I say? It's a trope for a reason. It's enjoyable. Normal MC paranormal love interest. Like, sure, You Go Girl. They're iconic, but I think that it takes some work to make that feel meaningful and not just sort of wish fulfillment-y. I still have like thoughts about where I thought Twilight was gonna go and things that I still have questions about from that world. But yeah, it can be fun. Not like other girls MC. I think I don't mind if the character just kind of isn't like other girls, but it's not fun for me to hear her like talk about it. Yeah. Old warrior reluctantly helping MC. That's pretty fun. I like a mentor. Mentors are fun. Kind of a classic hero's journey situation, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, Omegaverse, I'm going to say is not for me. I generally am stressed out by non-human anatomy, and that seems to be where Omegaverse tends to live. So it's not for me, but slay on, Omegaverse girlies. One bed. Oh my gosh. One bed is fun. One bed, I would say, is Olivia Wilde. Like, I'm not going to read a book because it has one bed, but whenever it happens, I'm always like, oh, you. One horse. Similarly, I'm not going to read a book because of this, but I have greatly enjoyed. I can't even remember what book I'm thinking of, but as soon as I read this, I was like, oh my God, thinking about the time the woman is injured and the guy's like, please just get on this horse. And she's like, no. And that's just so fun for me when one of the people is like so prideful that they refuse to share the horse. And even though it's like slowing everybody down and making everything silly, that's like a very fun image for me. And then it's fun when they're like, ooh, actually we do like each other, so we are gonna share the horse. Hee hee. That's fun. Okay, One of Us is Dead. I just read The Dead Romantics, which is kind of like that. Also, Julie and the Phantoms, my like favorite kids media. There's just something about it. Actually, I know what the something about it is, which is that it's a Kenny Ortega joint. I tend to enjoy One of Us is Dead. There's something romantic about a ghost falling in love with a person. Then you're like, how is this going to happen? What's going to happen? How is this going to work out? I don't know. It can be very stressful, but it can also be fun. It's not really one that I seek out, but when it happens, I'm always like, ooh. One of Us is Famous is fun for me. There's something about it. I find myself gravitating towards these stories. One of the projects, my feature film idea that's been rolling around in my head for ages is related to this. There's just something about it. It's very flavorful. Paranormal. Like, sure, I'll say You Go Girl. I'm not anti-paranormal, but I tend to read more fantasy than paranormal. I don't necessarily gravitate towards things with like creatures, but I don't mind if there are magical or other paranormal elements, supernatural elements. Not anti-paranormal, past trauma. I mean, I think that understanding a character's past trauma is pretty important. So it's not like I want it to happen in the story, but I think that it is a useful way to understand a character. Second chance romance. Ooh, second chance romance is pretty fun. Second chance is pretty Olivia Wilde nod.gif. There have definitely been books that I enjoyed a lot where I was like, oh my God, it was the wrong time, but now it's the right time. That can be exciting. Yeah, second chance is cute. Thinking about the 7 days in June. That can be fun. Okay, secret relationship. I would say I'm not pumped about a secret relationship. I think that the secret relationship must be revealed. And again, for grown-ups in a real adult modern world, there's no reason for a secret relationship. But in a fantasy, in a sci-fi, I think there's room for it, and it can be very fun and dramatic. Yeah, I like secrets. Secrets are fun. Okay, a prophecy. Ooh, do I like a prophecy? Yeah, prophecies can be flavorful because it's like, ooh, are we going to fulfill the prophecy? Are we going to evade the prophecy? What's going on? I think it's fun. Yeah, that's it, man. Rags to riches. I guess it's a Cinderella story. Sure. Yeah, that's fun. No super strong feelings there. It's fun when people are able to survive, not be sad. Rebellion. Ooh, rebellion is up there. I had a great time with the Hunger Games. I have certainly enjoyed rebellion books before. I don't know that I really seek them out. Sometimes it can be done well and sometimes it's not. Again, maybe one of those things that I should try not to think too hard about, but I'm not anti-rebellion. It's a high you go, girl. Reluctant hero. Ooh, a reluctant hero is delicious. That is the Hunger Games flavor. Chosen One is like, reluctant hero is good stuff. There's just something about a person who like doesn't want the glory but is driven by duty is very fun and exciting, and it's fun to hear like how conflicted they are in their heads about everything that's going on. Anybody who's too into being the hero is always a little bit like, ugh, boring. Riches to rags. Sure, I'll put it in the same category. I guess I could see someone like giving up their riches for love or for some other good reason is potentially very exciting. So I don't think I've really read anything about that, but riches to rags could be very interesting. Right person, wrong time. Ugh. It's heartbreaking, but it's usually like very good and interesting. But I couldn't possibly put an Olivia Wilde nod on it because it hurts me. But I understand why it needs to happen, and it can be very compelling. Rivals to lovers. Let's talk about it. Rivals to lovers is another flavor that I have planned to use in my own work. And I think Rivals to Lovers kind of perfectly, it has like all the flavor of enemies to lovers minus the questions, because there are so many different reasons you can be rivals. You could think and want all the same things and still be rivals. And in fact, maybe like because you care about the same things so deeply, that's what puts you at odds with the other person. You want the same things, but you're at odds about how to get them is very exciting and can ultimately make them great partners. So Rivals to Lovers is all the flavor of enemies to lovers, but more digestible, like dairy-free ice cream. Royals are fun. I don't mind princes and princesses. Again, I love the Princess Diaries. I don't necessarily seek out royals, but in a fantasy, I enjoy them. Just, yeah, if I think about royals too hard in real life, as is often the case with these, I always get a little bit like, wait, what are we doing? But yeah, in a story, they're fun. Self-loathing protag, it depends. I'll put it in no thoughts, but I actually do have thoughts, and I'm going to tell you what they are now. It depends, because if they're just emo for the sake of being emo, that's not super interesting. But if they're like, I have a dark past, I can never be redeemed or whatever, that's drama, and that can be fun and good. You got to use the self-loathing with intention. Single parent, sure, I'm neutral on single parents. I think it would be very hard to be a single parent, so it's not like a silly trope, but I support single parents in real life. Tending to wounds, I am not anti-tending to. I support tending to wounds. I'll put tending to wounds into Olivia Wilde not.gif, because sometimes in a story, a wound needs to be tended to, and it can be very like emotional. Yeah, tending to wounds is flavorful. Tending to wounds is Olivia Wilde not.gif. Treasure hunt race. I think I will say you go, girl. It's been a minute since I have experienced a treasure hunt, but I think that it can be very fun. I'm not anti-treasure, but like an inheritance game type story can be really interesting. Yeah, I have not read anything that made me pour out my heart for a treasure hunt, but I'm intrigued. I would not walk away from it. Slow burn, within reason. I'll give it an Olivia Wilde nod, within reason. I don't want to read like a 900-page book that is a slow burn. I don't want the slow burn to be drawn out just because it's supposed to be a slow burn. But if there are legitimate reasons that the characters' feelings develop slowly. Like You Again. I feel like You Again, which I just read earlier this year, is kind of a delicious slow burn where the relationship develops over years and years and years, but it doesn't feel like a slog to get through it. So I think that's my favorite execution of a slow burn. So we support. Soulmates. I'm going to put Soulmates. Soulmates neutral. Soulmates no thoughts. I just don't necessarily believe in soulmates. Maybe in a magical world I can buy it, but in real life I'm always a little bit like, I'll leave soulmates in no thoughts. Sorry, Plato. Sports romance. I don't care about sports even a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, I'm putting it there. That's all I got. I just don't care about sports. I'm probably not going to choose to read any books about sports. Spunky comic relief BFF. I love a spunky comic relief BFF. It's not going to really tip the scales in terms of reading a book or not reading it, but I oftentimes find a lot of love and joy from those characters. So we love strong, sarcastic female MC. Like, sure. How is this different from Not Like Other Girls? Maybe she just is not like other girls and doesn't talk about it. I'll say You Go Girl. Again, I'm thinking about a Jude from The Cruel Prince, but I don't know. I think she's even more than this. She's like feral, which is fun. Yeah, I think that female MCs can be delightful in many different modes, but strong sarcastic is fun. Summer fling. Ooh, why not? It's summer now. You go, girl. I guess if I'm reading a book, I do tend to go for true love forever and ever, but if it starts with a summer fling, why not? Super sassy protag. Again, I say, you go, girl. I don't think the protagonist needs to be sassy to be enjoyable. Yeah. Teacher, student. Oh no. I'm putting it there because it makes me feel, oh no. I have worked in education a lot over the years, and so the idea of this is very upsetting to me. That's all I got. Unrequited love. Okay. If we start in unrequited love and we like move forward from it, that's okay. But if they don't end up together, then that makes me sad. So I'll put unrequited love into Olivia Wilde not.gif. Unrequited love, pining, they go together. But we have to exit unrequited love land as quickly as possible so that we can have fun. Okay, vampire werewolf. Like, sure. I'm saying no thoughts, head empty. Teenager me might have had more thoughts, but adult me is just like, okay. And I'm not going to not read a book because there are vampires or werewolves in it. I don't need them. I could live without them. Let me know if there's any really excellent vampire or werewolf books out there. I think I tend to prefer vampires a little bit more. Okay, villains POV. Ooh, I'm not mad at a villain POV. Thinking about like a Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I'm not mad at a villain. I think that can be fun. Olivia Wilde not.gif. It's fun to know what's going on in a villain's head, especially if it's like good and interesting and not just one note evil. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're almost done. Who did this to you? Who did this to you? I can't think of any good who did this to yous off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's great when it happens. Yeah. And workplace romance. This is another one that I'm going to put, I think again, it's just because like this is what I'm planning to write about, but I think that within reason, a workplace romance can be fun as long as nobody is abusing a power dynamic. If it's just, we are collaborators and we are falling in love because we are collaborators, we have a lot in common, that's cool and fun. So yeah, I think I can accept a workplace romance. That's it, y'all. This was so much longer than I thought it was going to be. It's my fault for picking the 97 trope ranking one. And I know this isn't even all the tropes, but this is what I got. Ta-da. Okay. Wow. That was so much yapping. If you made it this far, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this chatter, like, comment, subscribe. Hello, new subscribers. I love you. And I also love you, old subscribers. And yeah, if you have any recommendations of books, movies, games, TV, whatever that I should watch based on these things that I said that I actually really do enjoy, let me know. And maybe one of these days I'll hop on here and do a little review for you. you. What is up next? I mentioned talking about K-pop, and I think it's finally time. I've got some musical theater, cultural commentary stuff in the works. I have a couple interviews in the pipeline, and I also have many, many more creative career topics, self-producing topics to talk about. So I'm just going to try and like follow my bliss and also follow what y'all are enjoying, and hopefully continue to make good and helpful and entertaining stuff for you. But yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good week. Okay, bye.